Okay, so picture this.
Okay.
You've just finished a workout, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it only took you 20 minutes.
Okay.
And in those 20 minutes, you've managed to squeeze in the same fitness gains as, like, an hour-long jog.
Right.
Sounds pretty good, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's exactly what we're diving into today, sprint interval training, or SIT.
And the cool thing is we're not just like speculating here. We're
Right.
diving into a full-on meta-analysis on this, which is published in Sports Medicine.
Nice.
And it combines data from 16 studies
Wow.
with 318 participants.
That's a lot of data.
Yeah, a lot of data.
So we're talking about a pretty clear picture of what SIT can really do.
Exactly.
Okay, so before we get into the nitty-gritty, let's back up a bit for our listeners who might be new to this whole SIT thing. What exactly is it?
So a lot of the studies use a protocol that's based on something called the Wingate test,
Okay.
which in simple terms is basically a standardized way to measure those peak power bursts.
Right, got it.
So typically it looks like, going all out on an exercise bike for like 30 seconds.
Right.
Then you get to catch your breath for a few minutes,
Right.
and then you just kind of repeat that cycle a few times.
So we're not exactly talking about leisurely ride through the park then, are we?
No, definitely not.
This is like full-on cheetah chasing down its prey kind of energy, right?
Exactly. Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
Maximum effort for short bursts.
Exactly. And that intensity is really the key here.
Got it.
Like, that's what seems to make all the difference.
Okay, so the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
Does it actually work?
Well,
Can you really get the same benefits in a fraction of the time?
so based on this meta-analysis,
Yeah.
it seems like the answer is a resounding yes.
Okay.
The study showed pretty definitively that SIT improves your VO2 max.
And VO2 max is basically how efficiently your body is using oxygen when you exercise.
Yeah, exactly.
So higher VO2 max means better fitness.
Exactly. Yeah, you got it.
Okay.
And get this, they found that on average, SIT can actually increase VO2 max by about 8%.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
8%?
8%.
You're telling me that just by doing these like short bursts of crazy intense exercise, you can boost your fitness capacity by almost 10%.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing, right?
That's like upgrading your body's engine, you know?
It's pretty remarkable.
Wow.
And the really interesting part is that this improvement, it's actually comparable to what people typically see with like way longer endurance training.
Okay, see, this is what gets me excited.
Yeah.
Because I don't know about you, but finding a spare hour to work out,
Right.
that's tough.
Yeah, it's a lot.
But 20 minutes?
Yeah.
That feels doable.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's the game changer here, right?
Yeah.
Like we're talking about giving people a way to reach their fitness goals, even if they're really busy.
It's like it could actually make a huge difference in people's lives.
Exactly. Yeah.
This is like the best part about these deep dives, you know.
What's that?
I start out with a pretty simple question, and next thing you know, we're talking about stuff that could like totally change the game.
That's pretty amazing.
But okay, before we get too carried away,
Right.
there's got to be a catch, right?
Well, I mean, as always, more research is
Of course, yeah.
always a good thing.
Right.
But one thing that's important to mention is that most of these studies, they focused on like healthy young adults.
Okay.
So we definitely need more research on how SIT affects,
Yeah.
older people
Right.
or people who might have some health conditions to think about.
That makes a lot of sense because, yeah, one size doesn't fit all.
Exactly.
Especially when it comes to exercise, right?
Right.
So anyone listening who's like suddenly thinking about swapping their hour-long run
Yeah.
for a 20-minute sprint session,
Right.
maybe check in with your doctor first.
Yeah, definitely. Always better to be safe.
Exactly. Safety first.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Safety check done.
Okay.
What else? What else should we keep in mind about SIT?
So one of the biggest things,
Yeah.
and I really can't stress this enough,
Okay.
intensity matters.
Okay.
Like a lot when these studies say all out,
Yeah.
they really mean it.
Okay. So like just pushing yourself a little bit harder than usual,
Yeah. No,
that's not going to cut it.
that's not going to be enough.
It's got to be that, like
It's got to be
cheetah energy.
exactly. Yeah. Maximum effort.
Gotcha.
And that's what seems to like trigger these really unique changes in your body.
Okay.
And another thing,
Yeah.
most of the studies, at least the ones we're looking at, they were pretty short.
Okay.
Like usually less than 6 weeks.
Okay, so not exactly a long-term plan?
Well,
You
not
know,
necessarily,
right.
no. We need more research to really figure out the long-term stuff,
Yeah.
like how long the benefits actually last,
Right. So,
and how sustainable SIT really is.
so it's more like we're still piecing together the puzzle,
Exactly.
when it comes to understanding how our bodies react to different kinds of exercise.
Yeah, and this is what I find really interesting.
What's that?
Obviously, this research focused on cycling, right?
Hmm.
But imagine if we could apply this whole sprint interval idea
Yeah.
to other activities.
Okay, yeah, like what
Like,
is...
what about running sprints?
Okay, yeah.
Would that work the same way?
Interesting.
Or what about swimming, doing intervals in the pool?
Ooh, okay, or how about this?
Yeah.
High-intensity dance intervals.
Oh, wow.
Right.
That's interesting.
Like, could we see those same benefits?
I love that idea.
Right, it's like the possibilities are kind of endless.
Yeah.
This could, like, completely change how we think about fitness.
It's definitely an area that deserves a lot more research
For sure.
because, it just goes to show there's always something new to discover,
Right.
new ways to challenge ourselves, and
Yeah.
new ways to understand how our amazing bodies work.
I love it. It's like we've uncovered a whole new world of fitness, right?
Yeah, it's really exciting.
Like, who knew that shorter workouts could actually be
Right.
more effective?
Exactly.
At least, when it comes to SIT.
Yeah. And it really challenges those old ideas about needing to spend hours at the gym.
Totally. It's like sometimes less is more, I guess.
Yeah.
But I do want to be mindful, Not everyone's going to be able to go all out like that.
Right, of course.
And that's okay.
Absolutely. This isn't about pushing everyone to their absolute limit or anything.
Yeah.
It's about finding what works best for you.
Right. Finding your own pace.
Exactly.
So for our listeners who are like totally on board with SIT
Yeah.
and they want to try it out, what would you say? Like, what's the most important thing to keep in mind?
I'd say don't go from 0 to 60,
Right. Ease into it.
Yeah, like approach it gradually.
Okay.
Listen to your body. Start slow.
Start slow.
And remember, consistency over time,
Right.
that's usually more important than, like, how intense you're going in any single workout.
That's such a good point. Yeah, it's not about, like, transforming overnight.
Exactly.
It's about finding what you can actually stick with.
Yes.
Exactly.
And hey, maybe one day
Yeah.
we'll be doing a deep dive into your research
Oh, wow.
on high-intensity dance intervals.
I would love that.
Right.
That would be amazing.
But seriously, this whole conversation, it's got me thinking,
About.
like, what if we could take this whole sprint interval idea
Yeah.
and apply it to other parts of our lives,
Interesting.
Not just exercise.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, what if we could be more efficient, more focused at work,
Interesting.
get better results in less time?
I love that.
It's like a whole new way of thinking.
It really is, and it just goes to show
Yeah.
there's always something new to explore.
Always.
Always something new to learn.
That's what makes these deep dives so fun.
I agree.
Right? It's like, who knows what we'll uncover next?
That's it for today's deep dive, everyone.
Thanks for listening.
Until next time, keep exploring and keep pushing those boundaries.
Absolutely.